I know you've been hearing about this word called yeast infection, and most times this infection can be very, very stubborn, and be it a man, a woman, a child, or an adult, everybody can be infected with this infection. And that is why in this video I'll be telling you everything you need to know about yeast infection. I'll also be telling you the causes of yeast infection, the symptoms, and how you know that you have this yeast infection, and how to prevent this infection, and as well the medication you will use to treat this yeast infection successfully, because knowing the right medication for this infection has been a lot of problem to people out there. Now, what is yeast infection? Yeast infection is an infection that is caused by candida cell, and when this candida cell accumulates in the body, they can cause yeast infection. And when this infection is accumulating in your body, you may not know. So that's why it is very, very dangerous. But there are ways you will know that you have this infection as a woman or maybe as a man. And one way you will know that you have this infection as a woman is when you are always experiencing a kind of white thick discharge coming out from your V port, and this discharge does not smell, but it inches you around your V port. Now, if you're having this kind of discharge, you should know that you have yeast infection. And also, you might be experiencing pain while knacking with your partner due to the presence of this infection in your body. Now, as a man, if you're always experiencing itching sensation, like every time you're always experiencing itching sensation around your private area, then you should know that you are also you're having this yeast infection. Now, as a woman, please, after treating yeast infection, please try to sun dry your pants, wash them with hot water and sun dry them, or maybe even use iron, pressing iron to iron it in order to help to eye any kind of infection that is still hanging around, because if you don't do this, it could lead to a reoccurrence of this infection. And make sure you always put on you don't always put on underwears that are wet, putting on pants that are wet, and or maybe your underwear that are wet, please, you don't need to put them on when they are wet, because yeast infection can grow faster in a very wet environment. Yes, yeast infection is one infection that grows comfortably well, in a very wet environment. So make sure you don't put on your underwears or maybe your pants when they are wet. Now, for ladies that are always using soap or maybe some kind of chemicals and scents, these soaps or maybe other things to wash their V-port, please, infection can grow in your V-port, because when you use all these soaps, scents, and chemicals in your V-port, it changes the pH level of your V-port, and when the pH level of your V-port has been altered, then yeast infection can grow faster without any problem. Now, there are instances whereby you have been taking antibacterial medications without prescription. You just take medications like that without a doctor's prescription. This is one major problem that causes yeast infection to women. When you are always you're always going to the hospital, to the pharmacy, or maybe to the chemist. Once you have any little sign of infection, you run to the chemist, to the pharmacy, and just buy any kind of antibacterial medication, and you just start taking them without minding the side effects. Now, let me tell you one thing. These medications, they all have side effects. Yes, yeast infection will grow more faster because those antibacterial medications will change the pH level of your V-port, and they will buy some kind of normal floras that are meant to fight the infection. So when you are just taking antibacterial medications anyhow, the normal floras that are meant to be fighting this yeast infection in your V-port will be bad. They will be bad because your body has been exposed to yeast infection. So do well as to always seek for medical attention, seek for the doctor's prescription before taking any kind of antibacterial medication in order to avoid yeast infection. Now, as a man, if you're that kind of person that you are always using dirty underwear, you put on your underwears for a lengthy period of time, like 2, 3, 4 days is already dirty and you're still putting it on, my dear, you might also experience yeast infection as well. And if you're that kind of person that you're always knocking with different people, you knock with people that are infected, you don't have one partner, you jump from one guy to the next one, my dear, you can contact this infection, and also you can also transmit it to others. Now, there are medications that can help you to treat this infection, but take note of this. One thing you should know about all this medication is that you have to take all these medications under your doctor's prescription. Don't just go and start taking them like that. Now, one of the medication is fluconazole. Fluconazole is a medication that is a very good antibacterial, antifungal medication that can manage yeast infection. And another one is the boric acid. This boric acid is a medication that is being inserted, like women, they do insert it in their V ports to help to buy this candida cell that is around their V ports. Then another one is kendoconazole. This kendoconazole is also an antifungal medication that helps in buying candida cells. Now, here are the reasons why you should not just go to the chemist or maybe to the pharmacy and buy drugs and start taking them like that, because you might take all these drugs and it may not work, and you'll be wondering and asking yourself, why is it that I took all these drugs and this infection is still there? My dear, now let me tell you one thing you need to know about this. Yeast infection have different strains, and there are different strains of candida, this candida cell. And when you are taking one medication that is meant for the other strains, which is already in your body, then that medication is as good as nothing. So it is always advisable for you to go for your doctor's prescription, so your doctor will check you and know the kind of strain that caused that candida, so he can be able to give you the right medication that will take care of that candida, that particular strains. So another one is glycosphingolide. Now, this is a medication that can also help to eradicate candida from your V ports, and there is another medication that is it is very, very effective. It is very, very effective if you can use it under your doctor's prescription, and this medication is terbinafine. This terbinafine is an antifungal medication that can buy any kind of candida cell in your body. So if you are that kind of person that you have been complaining that despite all the antifungal medication that you have been taking, you have not been having any solution, then terbinafine is a very good medication. It's a very good choice that you need to handle this candida. It helps to buy any kind of stubborn yeast infection, but mind you, it is best you use it under your doctor's prescription to avoid any kind of side effect. So this is all I have to share with you guys in regards to this video, and just in case you have any question, please do well as to drop it at the comment section. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and do well as to share with a friend if you got value. For all my returning subscribers and followers, this is Prince TV Global saying thank you. See you guys in the next one.